liberal elites, welfare queens, criminal caravans. The right does love its boogeymen, but that's because they don't have anything to give, except for fear and hate. Ask anyone what they are going to do for the average man. We know what they're going to do for the men in the high castles. But what are they going to do for the man and the woman who's working at a waitressing job, a factory job? They're going to make things harder. They'll do things like Abbott and make sure they can't get breaks with water. That's what they'll do. But they know hate sells. And they love pitting people against each other. And they're tone deaf. But you know, there are some people on the left who have these same attributes. Now let me explain. Now, the men and the women of the right, they'll say things like, I made sure you could work during COVID. But you know, they did that not for the waitress who was among the people more likely to catch this disease that we knew nothing about and die from it and take it back to their nanas and their children and their infants. They did it for them to keep the economy going so their pockets could be filled. But they'll paint it as I did it for you. So I will say this. The people on the left, there are genuinely caring people who actually want to make sure that people have a fair wage, make sure that they have medicine, make sure that everyone has a good education filled with facts. But the one thing I have encountered is this idea that the groups, the disenfranchised groups, can't speak out without a certain amount of permission being given to speak out. And there's a lot of tone policing. A trans person can't be angry that they're not represented enough. And there's always a sort of, aren't you happy with this one thing? As if that's the end all be all of all representation. Or, you know, lesbians or gay men can't say, hey, I would like to have this but we fought for marriage equality for you. As if that's the end all be all of inclusion. You know, there's this tone policing and tisk-tisking that happens on the side of the left that is its own form of oppression. I was, for example, in a Meidas Touch comment section. I happened to mention that it would be great to see more inclusion. And there were people in the comment section going, but we got Coach Brooks, or we've got the Sanchez, or, you know. And you're just thinking to yourself, and that's wonderful. And I didn't say anything negative. I just said it'd be great to have a little bit more diversity. Let's see some women. Let's see some Latinos, more Latinos. Let's see some Asians. Let's see, people from the LGBTQ community. Well, they're working on it. And there's this tisk aspect to it. Like, how dare I say anything? Even though I wasn't, it's like it's a slur. Just to mention what I would like to see. In the past, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have said to myself, you know what? I don't want to start any trouble. But then I'm thinking to myself, how am I starting trouble? Because I asked a simple question about a program that I was a huge fan of at the time, right? I should be able to say among my allies that this would be a cool thing. And my allies would say even, hey, that sounds great. We'll do it. We don't have the resources right now. We'll do it. So what's with the guilt trip? Well, the guilt trip comes from the idea that Black people can't speak, or just people of any group can't speak to their own needs without it somehow coming across as you playing victim or whiny or complaining. And there's a problem in that because I'm the one living this experience and I'm the one who should be able to say what I need. Disenfranchised groups are made to feel as if speaking on their own behalf is them being aggressive. Women who say, I'm tired of X are aggressive. Black people who say, I'm tired of X are aggressive. LGBTQ, trans people, anyone who says, hey, I want this. I feel like I should have this. This is fair in a equitable society. The only people who can speak on our behalf are the ambassadors. and the ambassadors tend to be white men. If a white man says, hey, black people need X, it's not seen as, I guess, threatening. If I say, I need this, I'm an angry black woman. And I'm a victim. And I'm whiny. It's why we feel the need to look for white champions who will speak for us, because we know that we won't be listened to. Robert Bevan of Jennifer Brown Consulting, a DEI firm, agrees with me. We've had this discussion. And he has said that to me. He's revealed that, he knows that he makes inroads as a white man that I would never be able to make for myself as a black woman. How screwed up is that? And I find that this is just as pervasive on the left as it is on the right. And so, what made me decide to start a One Angry Black Woman blog? Well, you might guess. There's a scene in the Josephine Baker story where Josephine had an ally and a radio announcer who championed her desire to have civil rights. But she saw him one day in a restaurant where she tried to enter, and they told her she couldn't because she was a black woman. She saw the radio announcer there, and she said, tell the world what you saw here. And he got on the radio the next day and started trashing Josephine Baker. Yeah, there's some people who are real allies, and I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being there. But there are people who are using the division on both sides just to make money and build a name for themselves. And they don't care anything about the communities that they claim to serve. That was my wake-up call. That was the understanding that I need to be my own champion. It's why I started the One Angry Woman blog. It's why I decided to create Be Your Own Hero. That painful lesson showed me that I can't rely on other people to do what I need to do for myself. I will be called angry. I will be called whiny. They will say I'm playing a victim. They will say I'm a narcissist who's only concerned with my own welfare. They'll say all these different things. But you know what? I'm not just fighting for me. I'm fighting for every disenfranchised group who's told they're a little too loud, a little too proud, a little too angry. What's with those parades? I want to fight for all of those people. Because we do live in a society that tells us that we don't have a right to fight for ourselves. There's something wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. Anyway, love you guys. And chat later.